Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to and happy Thursday night. I know it's a weird time to stream. This just kind of correlates with my work schedule and everything, and I really wanted to dive into this. So we're gonna get started in just a moment. I hope everyone's having a great day. I don't expect too much in like viewership or anything because to be quite frank, it is quite late. We're getting there, and it is still very much the work week. But we'll see. So let's just hold on and chill out for just a second, then we'll get in this. Let me go ahead and just show hello, everyone. Let's go ahead and just show this. So we have something other than my face to focus on. Because, yeah. It's a little bit more, I'm always always more comfortable whenever it comes to, having something else on the screen besides just a clear shot, because my camera, is normally better resolution and looks a lot better whenever it's further away and not the center or focus. It's not that great of a camera, unfortunately. I'd like to upgrade at some point, maybe get something a little bit nicer, but for right now, the webcam, the 1080p, it works fine, you know? I haven't had any issues, and it does do, like the coloration of it. I'm really bad at lighting and everything, but it doesn't look, I don't know, it doesn't look too horrible. I'm not like too educated in that, but we work with what we have. But I'm very excited because there's been a lot of progression with this ARG, and I want to get into it. Hold on one second. Let me go ahead and set up something in the line of music that we can have something that's a little bit more not grinding on the ears. I do love all this music, but there's a certain kind that has that feel to it, that it's more like ambient. Kind of what I'm looking for. Is there any like because I've been mostly looking at like Secret of the Mimic. Let us see if there's anything security breach wise. I want to make sure there's something that's copyright neutral about this. Well, that is very nice. I do like that. There's something that's a little bit creepier I think we can do, you know? Supernova Journey unused. That is epic, though. I do like that. This was unused. This is based on, like, Venta Black, which is from Sister Location. I do like this one a lot, actually. Let us do that, because I love the ambiance of that one. That one's really cool. But I'm really excited to get into this. I hope that if you don't end up catching this stream and being able to theorize with us, you can always catch the VOD. That'll always be up there, because I think it's just really cool to be able to kind of like go through, discuss this, have like a central place too, because this is surprisingly a pretty in-depth ARG. There's a lot of elements, and it's still ongoing, so there's still a lot of elements. Plus, there was something that was posted like 11 hours ago. We also have music snippets and stuff that he released that we can look at. And I want to try to maybe, I don't know if we'll need any like spectrographs or like spectrograms, if there's anything like that, but there was some like audio things that I wanted to check out that I don't think are like anything fancy like that, but who knows, could be, we'll see. Okay, so let me just show you, this is the doc that I have right now that has some of the like early posts. Not everything yet. We'll just kind of like do what we did with the chapter 13, and we'll kind of go through it one by one and just see what we catch. I don't know if this is going to be worth like connecting this to our mind map because it's a little bit more text. So I think we're just gonna roll with just a dock for right now. I think that probably would be kind of the best. I want to make sure. Hold on. Okay. Let me go ahead and pop out chat in a separate thing, that I don't have to look at all this. I've been trying to get out of the habit of like looking down and trying to like look at like viewership and stuff, because it's not really the point of this, you know, and I have to remind myself of that because I don't really get a whole lot of viewership most of the time, but whenever I do, it's a real treat. So I always enjoyed, like last time we had a really great stream, a lot of people engaged with chat, and that was all really good. But typically that happens more on the weekends, like whenever it's actually fully the weekend, like Saturday or Friday. And unfortunately, I'm not really going to be able to stream. I might be able to stream like maybe tomorrow a little bit, but we'll see. I've got some things to work on. But there has been some like really interesting developments, and I just kind of want to like look at these because they're very interesting. So for those who are very unfamiliar, Leon Riskin is the like composer for Five Nights at Freddy's, and he's the one who's making the music that you're listening to right now. He's a very, very good composer. He's been working with Scott Cawthon for a very long time, you know, since almost the inception of FNAF, right? I think that ever since we got like original music, I think it was, what was it like, because I'm trying to think like when that would be. Was it like the third or fourth game or something? I know like very popularly he made the music for like FNAF World for sure, but I don't know if he did it for like FNAF 4. I'm not really sure. Hold on one second. Let me go ahead because I want to be... Oh, because I have some things to do actually, because I didn't tell anyone that the stream was happening. That's probably a good idea. I probably should do that. And also tags and stuff. Speaking of tags, there's a lot of tag stuff to look at that I think is interesting. Okay. Posts. Content. Live. Here we go. And there. All right. I am live. And then I wanted to... here we go. Okay. There's a lot of interesting like little elements with this ARG that are kind of insane, and I have a lot of questions. We don't really know too much about where this is all going, but we have some ideas, definitely some theories that we can jump into. But for now, let us simply get into it. Okay. So the first thing that we have on our docket here is I just want to kind of like briefly go through everything. And I want to go starting with, so this started back in September of September 18th. The whole start of this was with a track. This one right here, September 18th, first teaser from the project, Forgotten Names and Faces. Now, there's a lot of interesting things with this song, and I think that it's worth kind of like stopping and listening to these and kind of breaking them down for what we can kind of gather from them, where they're drawing from, and kind of just going on a little bit of a goose chase, you know, a little bit, because I don't know if all of this, how much of this is important, but I'm gonna assume all of this is, because it's an ARG. Like, at this point, it is legitimately an ARG, which I think is really, really cool. It's been a long time since we've had one of these, since I think Ruin with the website, but like even that was very, very light. There wasn't any like codes. I think the big ARG elements that we had was in Security Breach, mostly with like the codes and the walls. I think that was the last time that we legitimately had like an ARG, and this is, I feel like, much, much bigger than even that one. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let me go ahead and turn off the music so we can listen to this this music. So I'm going to kind of intermittently turn off the music, and we'll talk about it and go from there. I'm not like super musically like knowledgeable. I do a lot of reactions to music, and I do enjoy it. But whenever it comes to like musical knowledge, I'm not the best. So any clues in regards to that might be present in the ARG, I might not catch on to. But I don't know how much of that will be present. We'll see. There might be, just considering the fact that Leon Riskin is a very knowledgeable composer. So let's just check out. This is about 30 seconds. So, Elegant Surrender. That right there is very interesting. I don't know if we put that through a spectrogram, if the ending little like glitch gets us anything, but I do find that really interesting that it does seem like it's nearing a pretty big transition. That's something that I think you typically see on Leon Riskin's music. There is definitely like a big contrast whenever he works with Scott between like this very playful music and then like the very heavy, like distorted, using like actual like soundscapes that are like industrial and like really grungy, and I absolutely love it. It's cool to see like some behind the scenes, it seems like a little bit later on, with him actually like working on some stuff. I love it. The whole teaser of this being called Forgotten Names and Faces, which is obviously something that's very interestingly is like you know, a abbreviation that abbreviates to FNAF, right? Forgotten Names and Faces, FNAF. But you don't even have to know that for this to be FNAF, because there's a lot of other clues and indicators, like the music itself. Like if you listen to this, right? Listen to this part. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. And then if you compare that over to, and go to YouTube, or actually I can just, a better way to do this without like having to do that would just be to go with what we already have set up here, which is gracefully into the abyss. Gracefully into the abyss. Princess Quest 4. This is from Help Wanted 2. Dun, 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 dun. You hear that? Dun, 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 dun. Right? So, start this from the beginning. Dun, dun, dun. It's the... What? Hold on. Let me try to get this. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's so good. I love the little and the harpsichord. It's such a good addition. Like, it's very simple from like a listening perspective, not necessarily like notation or anything, but it's very like it has this very unique sound to it with the harpsichord, something you really don't hear that much, I feel like, which is a sin because I love the harpsichord. Mix that with like a music box. Ooh, I love music box. And you kind of get that with the little like tones here. Anyway, so you very much get that motif here. The difference though is, and this is something that is really interesting to me, is the fact that this is not in any kind of arcade or 8-bit style. This is in like, this is very much like based in like almost reality, right? Which is funny because of what the name is, which is Elegant Surrender, right? It's very interesting. So the song is called Gracefully Into the Abyss, the one that is the motif is from, and this is the teaser for this is Who Will Catch You When You Fall Into the Abyss, right? And I would say that likely whenever we think about like this part, what I immediately think about is Cassie, right? Because, and we're gonna see this later on in the ARG, that I think a lot of this is kind of setting up a storyline furthering Cassie's story, potentially Gregory as well, and everyone else, hopefully. Vanny, please. But you can kind of really tell that because like at the end of Ruin, right, you fall from the elevator, right? And it's the whole idea of like who will catch you when you fall into the abyss, because the whole idea is like we're going into the abyss to save Gregory, but it ends up that Gregory wasn't Gregory, and Gregory, who we were gonna go save, leaves us to fall into the abyss, right? So this is almost telling us that Cassie's fate is some sort of elegant surrender, right? She's surrendering to the abyss, whatever that is. We're going to get more into what that might be a little bit later on, but from this, what we get. Also, Forgotten Names and Faces is interesting because it reminds me of the other title for one of his Secret of the Mimic tracks, which is Forgotten Fanfare of Forgotten Names, I believe is what it is called, actually. If I can find it. Hold on. Fanfare. That is, oh, why does this pop up again? Well, now you know what setup my thing is. Whatever. Fanfare. Forgotten Ones. Okay, Fanfare of Forgotten Ones. Which is the opening song with Mr. and Mrs. Helpful, right? That is the beginning kind of sound when you walk in of like you being greeted, right? The fanfare of the Forgotten Ones, right? And so like Forgotten Names Faces, that likely is referring to like the current story with the Mimic, Edwin, and Fiona in one, and whatever fate Edwin kind of suffered. Whether, you know, we're gonna see him again is kind of disputed because of the pretty like definite conclusion that it felt like he was given with the tape, the Mimic 2 tape from Secret of the Mimic, but I don't know, because it's like if Cassie is surviving this elevator fall, which we'll get more into later, maybe Edwin also survived, but I don't know. I don't know if that logic applies actually here, but we'll see. Anything is possible, right? But I think it's really, really neat. There's not too many ARG elements, except for just simply the abbreviated FNAF here that tells us, hey, this is the first teaser. And then in the tags, telling us that like tags are going to be used a lot in this ARG, using broken up text, who will catch you when you fall into the abyss. So it's pretty simple. But then, on the next day, we get something a lot more interesting. No more obvious hashtags, except credit to Tom Woodliff. Which, interestingly enough, this is a poem written by Tom Woody, not Woodliff. Interestingly enough. So Tom Woodliff is here. Oh, it does actually say Tom Woodliff. Okay, yeah, right here. Abyss, a poem by Tom Woodliff. Yeah, here it is. In the deepest, darkest depths of my despair, I find myself without saving grace, a pendulum of pain prevents my prayers from rising upwards through the dead of space. Within these walls, a war where no one wins repeats itself just like a worn out rhyme. No swain should I succumb to Swedish sins. For he who does the crime must do the time, and yet there was a time I loved her true. And in those days we dreamt without restraint. Though these merry memories have made me rue a life I should have lived with more constraint. For now I dwell inside this cursed abyss, a captive soul who longs for heaven's bliss. Interestingly enough, it shows a picture that is I believe from Paradise Lost, if I'm not mistaken, and it's a depiction of Lucifer, the fallen angel, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if this is saying this is from his perspective or if this is simply kind of because you see like a captive soul who longs for heaven's bliss, right? For now I dwell inside the cursed abyss, right? Who wants like the relief, right? Which is interesting. I find myself without a saving grace. So that kind of goes along with who will catch you when you fall. So Cassie has succumbed to the abyss, and there's no one effectively to save her, at least seemingly. Like yeah, so a life, and it seems like there's guilt here. I don't think for necessarily for Cassie. Maybe this is potentially for somebody else, or this is just not specifically written for FNAF. This is a general poem that's being referenced in correlation. There's a lot of interesting themes that kind of correlate with other stuff, but I love this. I love this. Also, I was a little bit mistaken, so I assumed that it wasn't Tom Woodliff, but Tom Woody, but that was from a separate site. This, I think, is a much more reliable one from the Society of Classical Poets, but I think that maybe he goes by both of them. I don't know, but it is interesting. So yeah, we'll keep that one up because I think that's interesting. Yeah, I think this is where we got from or something like that. So we know what that poem's for. The interesting thing though is these dots, no more obvious hashtags. And these dots have, it's very strange the way that these are outlined, and I don't really know yet truly what the purpose is for this. At least yet. But we have 3 dots here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11. So there's 11 here. So and 12, 13. So there's 13 dots here, which many people argue could mean like the 13th game, since this technically would be the 13th game. I think that's possible, but the way they're outlined is very interesting. And I wonder why that is. Maybe, I don't know. So it's all about being lost in the abyss, which goes very well with this first teaser. The next thing that kind of he posts was on September 29th. This was like 10 days later, quite a bit of time later on. And this was simply a song, one of my favorites from Freddy in Space. Notice though, there's a strange misspelling here that I think is interesting. And the tags, the hashtags, always interesting. Fizz to FNAF game OST. Nothing in here, my friend. Nothing in here, my friend. Which he does a lot, which I think is interesting. The thing that I find interesting is the fact that there's like highlighted letters in red and ones in black. You see this a couple times later on, and I think it's worth noting. But you have like ARERN, I've RN. Melee Pass. Leon Risk. Passive aggressive, one of my favorites from Freddy in Space 2. It's basically one filtered synth for most part. Sometimes while brainstorming you find a preset and it's all there, all the pieces, and ends pure bottled anger. Yeah, it's hard though. I love this. I love all of his work, man. It's so good. Passive aggressive. There's a lot of extra letters there. Ooh. It's just interesting to know that favorites is misspelled here. I don't know. Again, it's one of those things where it's like, is it a part of the ARG? There's some later stuff that too is misspelled. I don't know if it's like Leon Riskin, maybe you should check your grammar, or if it's like, hey, maybe this is a part of the ARG, you know? I don't know. We'll see. The next post was a couple days later, October 1st. Video game, music, game, audio, B, Betty, and this is the one that referenced Betty Lou Oliver, which is very interesting. Also, I think it's worth, interesting. So, one thing that I will say, it's referencing, I think this is worth checking out. Hold on, get this. So this is Freddy. Freddy in Space 2 OST. I'm just checking. I want to compare the OSTs here. Passive, aggressive. Yeah, so I'm keeping an eye on the red letters. Okay, so this is the track. So this is 6 years ago. So I think for the... I think it's basically the same stuff. Hold on. Yeah, so I think it basically is just the same song, right? Hold on, hold on. Okay. So I just wanted to compare those just to see if there was anything interesting. I didn't do like a full breakdown or anything, but I just wanted to kind of look at them and see if there was anything that we could find just like... I think it's... I don't know. Best Leon Riskin FNAF song. Hello, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but welcome, welcome. It's good to have you. Best Leon Riskin FNAF song. Oh goodness, there are so many really, really good ones. Um, ah, Best TLT non-FNAF song. Ooh, The Living Tombstone. That is a good question. I really, really like. This comes from Inside. Is a really good song. Visually, too, the animation is stunning. The most recent one with Monty, I think, is like just a work of art. As far as the animation, I just love how like how much personality is in that one. I think it's just a very fun like alternate universe kind of take to Monty. Oh, you said non FNAF. Oh, my bad. I was so stuck on FNAF that tells you what I know. I think probably I haven't listened to a lot of their like non-FNAF stuff, I'm not gonna lie. Like I've listened to a few. I really like their I could that's an easy one. Their Hello Neighbor song is peak. I love their Hello Neighbor song. There's something and I did a reaction to it. There was something about the way that the person that they got on their raps that I find just really, really fun. But as far as Leon Riskin, I don't know. Maybe we'll discover that together because we're gonna be listening to a lot of his tracks as we go on. Listen to Drunk right now. I can't because it's immediately gonna get the stream demonetized, which isn't like a big concern. It's just it's gonna derail the stream past its main purpose, which is like we are discussing the Leon Riskin FNAF ARG or like possible ARG. It is an ARG at this point. So I want to keep the stream pretty focused, but I appreciate your suggestion. I might check it out for a reaction. I don't know. I'm very bad right now whenever it comes to consistency. You can cut this part when it ends. I just don't want to do that to keep and like maintain consistency and theming for the stream. I'm okay with like answering basic questions, but I just want to keep it kind of maintained. But on that track, so this is something that I think is really funny about this. So over and over again, Leon has to specify like, "Hey, no more obvious hashtags," and then proceeds to like give credit to the authors so that we can find, obviously to give credit, but also so that we as like theorists can like find the original post and know where this comes from. And then he does cryptic things like this, like, "Hey, what's this about, Leon? What's all this empty space for? It's not the last time we're gonna see it either." See, he's doing something. It's called ARG stuff, and it's fun. It's fun. Okay, hold on. So the next one was October 1st. This is a Spotify to some of his other works. I think that's. This isn't FNAF related, I don't think it is. I think this is Mechanical Magic. This came out in 2020, actually. And I think he kind of references back to a couple of these tracks. But I think this is his own personal work, not necessarily like commissioned for FNAF, or if it's like for something else. I'm not sure, but I think this song is really cool. But let's listen to this. It's very fun. I love how like playful some of Leon Riskin's works is. It's just it isn't afraid to have fun, and you can tell that he had fun making this. But I love the fact. So here you have like some like hidden text, right? So there's some broken up text that references Betty, Lou. Hold on, I'll show you guys. So you see how there's B, T T Y, so Betty, Lou, and then elevator, E is capitalized, Oliver, right? So if you're unaware, let's look up Betty, Lou, Oliver. And if you look at this, This woman cheated death twice on the same day after a 1945 disaster. So this is really interesting. And this is something that, like, maybe you guys didn't know about history. I didn't know this. But on July 28th, 1945, Betty arrived at the Empire State Building where she worked as an elevator attendant. It was all set up to be just another ordinary day at work for the 20-year-old. Little did she realize that the foggy conditions outside would turn her world upside down. It was in the final months of World War II, and a B-25 service bomber was embarking on a basic mission which involved bringing servicemen from Massachusetts to LaGuardia Airport in New York City. The pilot was the vastly experienced Captain William Smith, who had led some of the war's most dangerous missions. By the time Smith had arrived in New York, the fog had significantly reduced visibility. Smith contacted LaGuardia and requested permission to land. He was advised not to land, and according to the writer of The Sky is Falling, a book about the events of that fateful day, author Weingarten Smith ignored the order and made a turn that brought him over Midtown Manhattan. And it appears as if Smith became disoriented by the fog, and rather than turning left after the Chrysler Building like he should have, Smith turned right and was now directly among the city's skyscrapers. At the time, the Empire State Building was the tallest in the world, and Smith crashed between the 78th and 80th floor. Smith, this is like something that actually, like, real life happened. I don't know. Apologize the insensitivity. This isn't a joke. It is genuinely horrifying how many times freaking planes have fallen into buildings. This isn't even me making a. Why is this happening? Why am I getting scammed by History Collection? Am I really getting scammed, or did I accidentally press a freaking ad? Whatever. Freak that. Don't like that. Anyways, I hate scam links. It's stupid. It is stupid. Like, seriously, this isn't even like an insensitive 9/11 joke. This is like legitimately, how the heck did I not know that a plane freaking crashed into the Empire State Building? That is insane. But she survived. Like, the whole thing is this was someone who was responsible for fixing elevators that was in the wrong place at the wrong time, but she freaking survived a plane crashing into the building. And a sudden crash. So the elevator cable had broken away and fallen to the bottom of the shaft before Betty landed. By the time she landed, the cable was there to provide a softer landing surface. Yeah, although there are most fun ways to end up in the Guinness World Book of Records, Betty's name was added for the unlikely feat of longest survived elevator fall. That is crazy. Like, that is just insane. But like no, guys, this is just crazy. Like, insane that is something that actually happened. Okay, that's a freaking okay. I did it again. I don't know why I immediately assumed that again this site was safe even after it immediately redirected me to a separate site. But anyways, let me just trust Wikipedia this time. That's definitely gonna be a lot safer than whatever the freak that was. Don't do that, kids. Be safe on the internet. Whenever you realize that something is not good for your computer, don't click it freaking again and expect a different result like I just did. I don't know. I don't want Norton VPN. That's like one of the greatest like antiviruses in the world. All those, like McAfee, like all those freaking ones they immediately install and then you can never uninstall them. It's insane. It's crazy, guys. But yeah, so that's pretty insane. The whole thing of that was, right, so pretty insane history lesson. I know that's why you guys all came here. The whole point of though is that this is being referenced in reference to like fixing elevators, right? But also a reference potentially to Cassie, who at the end of Ruin fell down an elevator shaft, right? Fell down an elevator, and I think it's potentially is saying that she's alive. Is kind of what I take away from this, potentially. But yeah, that's crazy insane. So then it says, "Don't you have anything better to do?" Question mark. Go read a book. Comma, clean the gutters. Comma, do your homework. Build a time machine. Ellipses, which is crazy. I don't know why. I wonder if it's a reference. Elevators can't be trusted. Take the stairs, which is interesting. They're definitely a reference. Very interesting. Okay. So with these posts so far, it's very simple. You know, you have the poem referenced, you have Betty Lou Oliver referenced, and it seems to be building this an actual narrative here where, right, it's Cassie. Cassie has fallen into the abyss, and there's no one to save her. She's fallen down the elevator and has survived. Passive aggressive could be references to the Mimic, who is pure bottled anger, you know. Could be, or maybe Cassie's angry. I don't know. Then you have this post from October 5th, which is at 1, and then references 136 in reference to this image of a wrecking ball crashing into a wall. Then you have just hashtags, nothing more, simply little blue words, ellipses. Interesting that you like specify ellipses today. These low distant effects you can hear in the background are actually created by an old piano, filtered and demolition inevitable. And I will just friggin' I love this. Just listen to this song. It referenced here 136. Huh. Why? 136 demolition. It specifies so specifically 136. Is there something there? This genuinely is so gorgeous. But it's interesting because, like, why specify that specific time? That's interesting. We'll come to this. We're just kind of going through the different pieces of this, and then we'll kind of like go back and see what kind of things we can gather together. This, I think, is interesting. It says stop nooping around the hashtags. No truffles in here. perfect escape plan. I think this is just video game relative free music, which is interesting. I don't know if this is like specifically, I don't think this is anything, but it could be. Also on October 10th, um, gave a little poem here. On Sea Silent Like Hope Yesterday. This is a reference to Sadakicha Hartman. I'm not quite sure who that is, but so we have Abyss. Let us add this to the list. Sadakicha Hartman. Was an American art critic, poet, and anarchist. Oh wow. From November 8th, 1867 to November 22nd, 1944. Let us look at it with the poem. This. Yesterday. Okay. Because this is seemingly directly related to Nocturne. Upon the silent sea-swept land, the dreams of night fall soft and gray. The waves fade on the jeweled sand like some lost hope of yesterday. The dream of night fell soft and gray upon the summer-colored seas. Like some lost hope of yesterday, the sea muse song is on the breeze. Upon the summer-colored sea, sails gleam and glimmer ghostly white. The sea muse song is on the breeze, lost in the monotone of night. That is beautiful. Like visions of a summer day. They shift and slowly drift away, like lovers' lays that wax and wane. The visions of summer day, whose dreams were near, will dream again. Like lovers' lays wax and wane, the stars downshift from sail to sail. Like dreams we near, will dream again. The sea mews fell on their trail. In quest of some far dreamland zone, of some far, silent, sea-swept land, they are lost in the dim unknown, where waves fade on jeweled sand and dreams of night fall soft and gray, like some lost hope of yesterday. Interesting. Nocturne. What exactly does nocturne mean? A short composition of romantic or dreamy character suggestive of night, typically for piano. Oh, interesting. So this song is called The Forbidden Nocturne. So the Forbidden Night, or Forbidden Dream. Interesting. This is from Sister Location, right? The night falls soft and gray. Forbidden Dream. This, oh. Interesting. Interesting. Lock the door. Trust no one. Oh. Hmm. Yeah, that is interesting. This just means hashtag hashtag. Interesting. Hold on. Use a clean version of the Forbidden Nocturne, or is it? Well, is it? Interesting. So, the Forbidden Dream, the Forbidden Nocturne. Um, it's interesting because this seems to be potentially like something that was cut that was meant for the non-canon ending, right? With the one where you leave work, you escape, and then Michael gets attacked by Ennard, right, at his apartment. I think that's what this honestly is supposed to be for. But it's interesting because I wonder if this is going to be repurposed in some way for Abyss or whatever this ends up being. 99.95 original version of Vita Black Desire. Interesting. It's a very good song. I love Venta Black Desire. Interesting. Venta Black Desire. Do we know why it's called Venta Black? What is Venta? Is that another musical term? Venta meaning? Venta is Spanish, maybe? Tail? What about Venta Black? Does that mean anything? Is that like a specific term? Venta Black is a color of super black coating with total hemispheric reflectances. Venta Black. Black is black. All you need. Interesting. Oh, so this is like that thing that's like the extremely like void color, right? Is a light absorbing chemical. The name is a trademarked by Zero Nanosystems. Interesting. July of 2014. That's interesting. Up to 99.965 of visible light. Oh, interesting. Is that what's the reference is here? 99.95 original version is because it's 99.96% of visible light. That's very interesting. It's also relevant. So Venta Black Desire would be practically like utter absorption, right? The desire to absorb light, right? Completely submerge everything in darkness. Interesting. The Forbidden Nocturne. And these are things too that are from the original sister location. So it's like thinking about too, never realizing like looking at the actual track names and like seeing if these actually mean something. But that is very interesting. So video game music, game audio, Michael, game composer, Faraday, Farity, indie game dev, Beware of Smoking Cyclists soundtrack, 8-bit. Beware of Smoking Cyclist. Who is Michael Hardy? Is he a cyclist? Michael Hardy. Clothing? A politician who served in Boston City counties? Is that what it's talking about? The first Irish case of spontaneous human combustion. Huh. Is that who it's referring to? Attributed to spontaneous combustion? Is that what it's referring to? Dicelian acetylene. What is this? The synthesis structure. Oh, wait, hold on. Synthesis. Synthesis. That's relevant. Why? Hold on. Base molecules in superacidic media. I don't understand half of these words. But that's relevant, actually, because this word comes up again. Let me look at this. Hold on. This is going somewhere. I really need a way to organize all of these things. Hold on. Let me go ahead and start these so that we have them. These are all the things that are relevant to us. But okay, so that was. I don't need this. Okay. Where am I looking? What am I looking for? I've lost the plot here. Here we go. Okay, hold on. I was wanting to look this. Beware of smoking cyclists. What is this? Copy. It is also called carbon at room temperature is a colorless volatile liquid and has a linear molecular structure of NCCCCN, often abbreviated as NC4N, with alternate triple and single complex can be viewed as acetylene with interesting. So what is it for? Let's look at this. Because this is seemingly related. Synthesis can be prepared by over simple. What is synthesis? Has been detected in the atmosphere of Titan or infrared spectroscopy. Interesting. What is it used for? Is it used for anything? As a reagent in organic chemistry? It is a useful reagent with unreactive isoactive thing. That's relevant because of some things I'll talk about. Also, I don't know why YouTube these are here. These aren't like specific YouTube things. I kind of want to get rid of them so I can get rid of these. All bookmarks. We'll bear with ourselves for now. Okay, interesting. So I wonder what does that have to do with Michael Faraday or Farharti? Because there's this story that talks about spontaneous combustion, which is gross. Was it due to um the accelerant? Is this? I don't know if this is relevant. It's kind of gross. you know. Um, but it's interesting. It's good. There's a lot. Hold on. Beware of smoking cyclists. Michael Faraday. Smoking cyclists. Interesting. Maybe that's just what it's based on. This one is interesting. What makes music scary? A sudden banging on the door in your ear might work the first time, wink, but not in the looping tracks. For me, church organs have terrifying. Why is this like this? Age potential. Medieval recall the tone and low frequencies. It's rad. And unstrung and unhinged, notice the tempo the bass line follows. It's not triplets. It actually took me a while to figure it out. Of course, there are other elements too, like non-standard percussion, which you'll often hear in a lot of FNAF soundtracks. The Back to the Iron Lung. Interesting. Terrifying. Quidditch? Oh, what? Harry Potter? Why? I don't know. It's weird. It's misspelled there. I feel like that's probably something. Again, we'll come back to all these things later. What's this? Hold on. Is this just gonna be hashtag again? Well, can I save the text? No, I don't want to do that. Okay, let me see what these translate to. Hashtag, word, or an unspace. Again, why? Why do you do this to us? Again, you completely bamboozle us. Leon Riskin, you can't keep getting away with it. It's just rude at this point. Where you gave us an ARG, why can't you just let us have it, right? It's just fun. It's so funny. Oh my gosh. Really nice. I don't know if that's probably not related. Invisible ink. Wait. Dang it, I thought there was something there. Interesting. Why specify invisible ink? Winter is coming, stay. FNAF, DD, FNAF. At some point, we're gonna have to jump to the latest thing because I really want to talk about it. Because it's very interesting. So I don't know what to make up with everything. I might just end it here. I know it's kind of a bit of a short stream, but I'm kind of tired. And I just got off work and everything. And I might just pick this up tomorrow. I've got a little bit of stuff to do. But I want to give this my full attention. And stream at a point where maybe some people could jump on. But thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you guys enjoy it. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. And I'll see you guys next time.